What's up, guys? Um, I'm back with another video coming up. It's 11:41 p.m. I got school tomorrow, but you know, I just kind of don't feel like sleeping at all. Just feel like ranting about, I guess, life. um, I feel like it's about time to a little recap on what's been going on recently. Not relatively recent, but within the time frame I was out of action on making videos. Um, the last video I made really backfired on me, as I'm not even dating that same person, which may sound weird. It's just a bunch of hoopla. There we are. Now it's on the screen. What we're gonna do, we're gonna ignore these two. Those are two different videos. It are never just ever gonna be released anymore. Yeah, so I'm not in the same relationship with that same person that was in the last video. It was September when she up and left. How I took it was she just openly admitted to having enough of me as a person. So I just went about what remained in my life. Kind of just was an impressive episode, trying to figure things out and understand a lot of things. But obviously, when you're faced with something made you very sad, and you start hearing things that you never thought hear about that one person heard a lot about. You kind of just make drastic choices, stupid ones as well. That's basically what happened. My stupid choice was not even stupid at all. I got in a new relationship relatively quick. It was just the timing was pretty bad. You know, it's just a bunch of craziness mixed with some good. Um, the 1 month anniversary is coming up, and you know, kind of weird thinking about it. And it's not like I could really prevent any of it being in my thoughts most of the time. I mean, high school is a cesspool of bullcrap. Oh, bamboo. So you kind of just have to sift through being either a little fool being played or just handle the thoughts that you're gonna amount to nothing after a while. You know, high school is a really good thing as much as it is a bad thing for kids because during that entire time you're kind of just questioning most of the things that you did or you know people did to you. And how am I failing so bad at this parkour? I feel absolutely flabbergasted by such horrid actions. Anyways, you're just kind of stuck in a constant state of why me? Or, you know, why do I need to handle these feelings? And you consistently just go through it in your head, always thinking about, you know, what could I have done to be the one for this person or whatever. Now, as for if I'm doing good, I wouldn't know. I genuinely wouldn't. But I could assure you that currently, as much as I am happy, it still feels weird without the thing I've gotten used to. And, you know, high school, you can experience a lot of fun things, but those fun things are as miserable as they can be, just as they could be as fun as they can be. You could fall in love shortly after experience a really, really painful breakup. And then you're stuck for a pretty good amount of your time questioning why you had to handle such horrible things. And you know, it starts a whole new thing of disgust towards yourself or whatever. And you know, I'm not going to be one of those guys just continuously feeding into, you know, oh, high school is horrible, there's nothing good about high school. Honestly, there really is hardly anything good about it, but it's just about how you want to treat it. If you let most of those things get to you, I guess that's your high school experience, is just depression and, you know, misery. Which, genuinely, I wouldn't blame you. Because, good grief, bruh. I hate it. It's just not worth it. These thoughts that go through my head often, they're not fun. Hell, I thought I could at least have fun with, you know, having someone who, you know, you thought would care. And get the sad truth to see that, well, they never really did care. We're just full, never to break out of their grasp. depending on where you are, you'll have the greatest high school experience or you'll have the worst high school experience. It really does matter on how you view things, but that's not the entire thing. You can have the most greatest high school, but still have the worst experience, or the worst high school and the most greatest experience. What's the word? Subjective, maybe? Who knows? But it's just, it's miserable. I'll tell you that. If you're thinking about a relationship in high school, my honest reaction would just be to hold off for a bit. It really never ends up worth it. And if you have that small instance like I did, you'll see that not everybody is, you know, horrible beings. Not horrible beings, but horrible human beings. People can be as good as they are bad, and the thing you'll learn over time is everybody has another side to them. Whether you already know that or not, there's people who, to this day, they could be in their 20s or 30s and still not know that people are fake. Just holding on to the false hope that, maybe they're not fake. Or maybe I just wasn't there at the right time. Or I did something, or so on and so forth. Bad thoughts, basically. And you could just be absolutely devastated by it. Your train of thoughts just disoriented, and you slowly fall deeper and deeper into your thoughts and bad memories. And, now I probably won't go too deep into it, as you know there's actually people that choose to watch my stuff, and those people who end up going to my school, whoever sees it, you know it's probably going to cause ruckus. I mean, my voice isn't that hard to differentiate, let alone, you know hell, I don't even know if my ex has my YouTube account username, which I'll hold my tongue on what I want to say, since I don't know, I'm getting real feisty with this. But you know, high school comes with a lot of regrets, a lot of them, making you more broken, or more sad about things, or just in pain entirely. And all you can do is just really sit there and laugh at your own impudence, or your weakness at being pathetic, and just wonder why you're even given that opportunity that you were given. You know? Can you not come and bombard me, Enderman? Homeboy. grabbed a full-on dirt block and is just traveling the world. I lost my train of thought because of the Enderman. I'm not even gonna lie. As weird as this may be to say, I'm not in an entirely proper state of mind at all. Hell, all you guys would know is that this could be my very last video. And hell, very might could be. I just hope I don't really fall farther than I have. It's really saddening to be the type of guy who just didn't think about others whenever he was going. Because honestly, there's people who say they care and don't, and there's people that say they don't and do, or vice versa, say they do and they do, and they don't and they really don't. But honestly, it's just a hassle, to say the least. Let's put it like this. Someone like me, like, why would you go out of your way and care about someone like me? I mean, some people who watch, you know, I'm just a nobody. It'll stay like that. You'll probably come along, watch a video or two, and since I don't really upload often, you know, go off and probably forget about this channel. I don't post often because the only times I really do is to vent about random scenarios or just to get out of my head even a little bit just by talking, even if it's to myself. It's weird, I'll tell you that. And the only reason why I started uploading a bit more often was because, if you guys all remember, or if any of you guys have seen or heard me talk about Vincent, which is somebody I still truly care about deeply. Me and him stopped being friends whenever I was like starting to go through the rough parts of a breakup, entering a new relationship rather quickly. I won't deny it. It was a very quick thing. But what had happened that even caused me to enter a relationship so quickly was just after the breakup, how my ex went about, you know, trying to get me to learn what I did, apparently wrong, was just by full on calling me after breaking up with me, like the very next day, just to tell me virtually everything I did wrong in the relationship. And then without further word, just hung up afterwards. No further comment, no nothing. And of course, since, you know, I loved her, I asked, is there like any way that we could possibly get together again, either in the future or just right now? And I won't deny, I was just in shambles, which was probably the first time I'd ever broken down for anybody. And she said no. And she hung up. And I just sat there. Because in that moment, I was just chilling in my bathroom crying. I missed an entire day of school because I couldn't even get out of bed. And when I mustered the courage to, I finally went to go try to take a shower. But instead of showering, I just left the water off. I just sat there the entire time, miserably staring off into the distance, wishing that things would have gone better. I had blamed myself for the entire situation, questioning why I couldn't do anything right. But it was shortly into it that I had started to come back to my senses slightly, like enough to return to school. And it was probably the most painful thing ever. I came back the next day. Was Let me lay it out to you. On Wednesday was the breakup. It was in my 7th period class, which me and her shared. And, you know, we broke up. Well, she broke up with me. It was that entire time into the relationship that I was still fighting for it to stay. Because I'm not even gonna lie, I wanted it to, like, stay a thing. I wanted the entire thing to work out. But she was fed up, and, you know, and yes, there's still bits and pieces left out, but the main thing that even led to the breakup was the fact that just because I really felt like I couldn't open up to her, primarily, like I can't specify exactly entirely every part on why I started to feel like I couldn't open up to her in general, since like it's not, it's NSFW stuff, but I had no voice to her because she would just use the excuse that my voice is attractive and she can't pay attention. And it was really, really deteriorating. And it was just, I didn't know how to process anything anymore. It was just straight up, how can I, get through to her without her saying my voice makes it really hard to listen because it's attractive or whatever. You know, it's like after a certain amount of times, you're just there confused. Like it's like you did all that just for it to amount to absolutely nothing. And slowly, I started to, um, I started to drift into just starting to hold it in. And that got really, really bad. Then school started up, and I encountered one of my friends from, you know, the year prior. And, there's nothing wrong with female friends or guy friends or anything. You can't go saying that, that's a red flag if a guy has a female friend or a girl has a female friend. You have one. Most definitely you do. Weirdo. But it's like, there we are. Evenly distributed bread. It's like, you know, she told me that. Now, bear in mind, this was my first ever relationship, and I didn't know how to properly go about things. So I was like talking about it, like expressing how it felt hard to open up because, like, you know, it was just like I couldn't get through to her because, like, she wants me to listen to her, but whenever I need to be listened to, I don't get that. So I would try and try to get her attention, and it kept failing. So I just gave up on trying to open up, and like I just died inside basically. Also, if you guys hear vibrations in the background, Discord notifications on updates or announcements and whatever. But it's like I wanted to be heard. I wanted to have someone to open up to. That one person that I gave my heart to. It's just like, what did I do wrong to not be allowed to be heard? Because obviously something was done wrong. And, took away the privileges that I thought I deserved in order to be heard or cared for. It was just, you know, I, for some reason, had to listen to her demands, her wants and desires, and go through with them and complete them all within a specific time frame. And if I didn't, well, I'm just not trying enough, or like I just don't care or whatever. Or to her, it felt like I didn't. And I'd express it over and over, saying, no, I really do care. Like, just gotta understand that I'm not a superhuman. I can't do everything you want me to, just at the, like, snap of a finger. I'm human, or at least I believe I am. So just bear with me. And, you know, after a while, it started to feel like she was disinterested. The entire relationship itself. And, you know, I was longing to have that connection, that, like, that acceptance and stuff. It was just, I wanted to feel loved, I guess. Which, after a while, it was just terrifying. I'd overthink and overthink, wondering if she'll fall out of love again. and I'll just become like another one of the many guys she's dated. And yes, I was the idiot who ignored red flags with her. She had a lot of exes. She had openly admitted and kind of flaunted the fact that she cheated on one of her exes, making them go through therapy, and laughed about it. I ignored a lot of those major signs, so I guess I got what I deserved. But it was later into the relationship that I even heard a good amount of that. Me and her started off as like, friends, because I wasn't really thinking of a relationship immediately that year. My main goal was just to enjoy myself instead of being so fixated on one thing or another. And it kind of backfired because near the end of the year, April 21st, I asked her out. And then afterwards, I started learning more about her personality. But by that time, I was slowly gaining feelings for who she was. And those red flags kind of just disappeared from my head. I was just thinking, I'm the chosen one. Just I'm that guy who can change this entire thing. And, and I'd like to believe that, you know, maybe she never cheated on me. Maybe I was just the one guy that she did give that much care to and not cheat on. And, you know, it's just, I've been having a lot of times in my head where I just can't seem to stop thinking about it. I feel really, really stupid and pathetic for even having such thoughts, or like feeling like I need to care. And I was completely okay up until the very moment when I started to realize, oh crap, our 1 year anniversary is about to come. And I started thinking about it more and more, but it only happened like really quickly after I heard her voice after a pretty long time. I saw her face. To be honest, my body kind of froze up. Like, I forgot how she sounded. It had been a pretty long time since I'd heard her voice. And my heart kind of sank. I started rethinking about everything. You could ask me, well, what did you miss about her? I can't really tell you. I don't understand what I miss or what I wanted. But I could tell you now what I wanted was acceptance. No, I didn't want things to end in general. I wanted them to last. I wanted her to show me she cared. That I wasn't just an idiot for blindly believing that, like, I'm just another person she's using as experience. It sounded nice to hear her say that, you know, I could go to her. It sounded really peaceful to be by her side at times. And other times it was just how can I even trust someone like you after you've shown me some of your true colors? Like, it's like I wanted to believe you, but you're betraying me again. There was a time in our relationship where she was having a sleepover with one of her friends on call with me and everything. And there was a guy who, and they were on Omegle. I don't know if I had already announced that, but people were talking to her, and I was just listening in, kind of laughing about some things, because it was pretty funny, some of the things that were going on. And the main thing that I remember that really struck a chord and hurt really, really bad was the one time that, you know, there was a guy who was like telling her she was cute. She's like talking to the dude, and he started flirting a little more. And it was like, I have a boyfriend. And he's like, what's wrong with having two? He doesn't need to know. And she looked down at the phone, muted her mic. This was a FaceTime call too. She looked down at the phone, muted her mic, and as she looked back up at the computer, said something that I couldn't even make out with my skills at reading lips. And I had turned my camera off for a quick second because I needed to recuperate from what was about to go down. And I basically started like getting really, really teary-eyed. I was about to ask, "Hey, the hell? Why'd you mute?" And then she turned her camera off after alongside being muted, and I just pressed the hang up button so quick. And I've never bawled my eyes out so hard. I've never had to walk around my room feeling absolutely dejected. Like I was the one who just witnessed the most devastating betrayal ever. And I walked around just in shambles, miserable and broken. And shortly after, I started messaging her, and I asked her, "Why'd you mute?" Like after the guy said that, and she was like, "Oh no, I had skipped him, and uh, my friend wanted to tell me something, and she wanted me to mute." And in my head, the first thing that came was just, yeah, right. And I immediately kind of disregarded it for a while, but it always stuck in my head in the relationship. Yet I never tried to let it bother me at all. I just continuously just put it past me like an idiot instead of trying to confront it further or trying to leave. I stayed primarily because, like I said, I didn't want to leave. You know, I had already given up everything that I could, you know. I wanted something with this girl. And, you know, I guess in a way you could say that I was just taken for granted. And, I was just a fool to even think that something like that would ever turn out to be good. But that weird gut feeling I had since I first met her kinda never went away. I couldn't tell what exactly it was telling me, but I just felt like a weird feeling. After a while, it just started to feel comforting, but it was just, no matter how I could put it, it still felt weird to me. Since, I don't know, she brought a lot out of me emotionally. So I kinda gave more and more to her, and I wanted more and more with her since, you know, romantically it was nice. But had I finally thought about it and opened my eyes, I would have been able to leave it before things escalated further, became really, really bad. And maybe then I could have saved myself. But I kept telling myself that things would be okay, that it's not all bad, that she's not a horrible person, that it's just gonna take some time. But, you know, it's taken for granted every time. I had explained it as best as I could to get her to like understand where I'm coming from, but using like the current voice I'm using right now, and you know, a more relaxed tone, or like not relaxed, but heightened pitch of a tone. Like I'm talking something like this, like as if I'm like trying to be a little more softer or whatever. So so she could like understand the exact like, all right, I'm not even gonna try to swap between the two like that. I'm sorry. So she, so it would be like easier. But if I went too high of a pitch, apparently I got on her nerves. If I went too low of a pitch, apparently it was hitting at her little happy, her little happy mood. I guess that's the right way to put it. Her little ooh yeah, let's go with that. Ooh, give me more voice. Not voice, mood. Oopsies. But it's painful. And it would always be something like, at one point there's a lot of affection, and then something slightly ticks her off, and then you have to handle the brunt of the force. Is, you know, you're always talking to her. And she would kind of abandon me just to talk to her friends for hours, and then come back hours later just to go to sleep on the phone. Not even to like interact much aside from like, hey, I'm going to bed. Oh, you don't want to talk a bit longer? Yeah, nah. I'll just talk to you tomorrow. And then I talked to her very little the next day because she's either super occupied or probably just didn't want to talk. So she found a reason on why she had to go. As for some of you guys would probably be asking, why'd you stay with that, you buffoon? I will tell you that that's my first girlfriend. And I got the short end of the stick because I have that really, really annoying personality that I feel like I cannot leave something that I've started, for better or for worse. And boy, it was the worst thing to ever be put in my mind since I ended up so dejected and heartbroken. By the time we broke up, like, oh my goodness, this actually looks pretty cool. F12. It's F3 for that. Okay. It's F9 to take a picture. Like, the day we broke up, I'll go into that. I'll skip forward. And if I remember where I was specifically, I'll go back and explain that. But I kind of just had my friend that I talked to, which was my female friend, because I wanted advice. Because you know what they say, who knows a lady better than a lady herself, or whatever. And I talked to her because I wanted like help. I wanted to be like guided through, like not really guided through, but I wanted to be sure that I wasn't gonna do anything stupid or wrong. So I like confronted it. I was like, so what do I do? Like I'm lost. I feel so sad. I'm broken inside type thing. And she was, after a while, she was just like, you really need to leave, man. Like, I've never seen you so miserable. Like, you used to be, like, really happy. And ever since you've gotten with her, it's been, like, kind of a down spiral. Like, you seem a lot more miserable in your life. I was like, I don't really see it. Like, I would continuously deny it, knowing deep down that, you know, she wasn't wrong. It was just, I was still trying, I was still fighting my hardest to keep the relationship running. Meanwhile, from her, it just kind of felt like she was already giving up. She didn't even want to try much. And I just was the one that kept fighting and fighting and fighting for something that probably wouldn't last more than like a day. And somehow it lasted long. And after a while, I tried introducing my friend to my ex, and you know, my friend and I were talking at the table while my ex was talking with her friends, kind of just ignoring my entire existence as per usual whenever it came to being around her friends. And like I kind of just finally had someone to be able to talk to and mess around, laugh with at the table. And all of a sudden, my ex was talking about how she's into me. She was openly flirting with me in front of her, and that she doesn't like her. I was like, I don't. What do you mean that that's flirting? Like, you do the exact, like, basically how my friend was acting was like how she would act with her guy friends, which she was friends with a good amount of her exes, and she had reassured me that she didn't like country guys. Yet currently she's with a dude who's country, and you know, I guess I was a nerdy dude. Literally, that's what I'm called by her. Is I'm just a nerd. Just because I don't do country style things. I'm not too big on the other bullcrap or whatever you want to call it. I primarily just stick to my own stuff. Like, I'll make videos rarely. Like, I go out and have fun because, I have a life kind of like that. Me and my friend will go around just doing random shenanigans, and we'll enjoy our lives. There's no issue. But my ex was talking about how she didn't like her because, she's into me. And I told my friend about that, and she was like, "No, dude, I'm not even into you, not even slightly." And at the time, she was like talking to one of my very good friends, like in a romantic way. And I was like, "Dude, I don't even know what's going on. It's like, it's weird as hell." And she was like, "Dude, that's manipulation. Like, she's manipulating you to get away from people who are like trying to help you." That's kind of out of proportion, like out of story base. Um, like, I was telling her a little more about it. I was just telling her like she just doesn't like you at all, just because supposedly you're into me. And she was like, "Dude, I don't even have feelings for you like that. Like, you and I aren't ever gonna be like that." I was like, "I don't want that ever with someone like you, to be honest." And she's like, "Yeah, exactly. Wait, what?" Wait, look at that. Weird as hell. Sorry, I really need to stop. I really need to stop getting sidetracked. Um, like, we were just talking about how I know she's not gonna get with me because she's got my homeboy in her sights. Like, she was all over him, as in, like, those eyes were primarily set on my homeboy. It was like obsession to a whole nother level. And it was like, it was just crazy. But I wanted my ex to meet one of my friends, because with I sit with her friends and her at lunch and in the breakfast super often. It's like, so I should have my right to sit with a friend as well. And she didn't like that one bit. I tried with one of my guy friends, and she made fun of him after he went away. And then she made fun of my female friend. Just every single time she'd seen her, just immediate laughing and pointing the finger, like calling her ugly, just judging her looks and everything like that. And, you know, it just kind of was like, dude, that's my friend. But obviously, I'm the buffoon who, not even a buffoon, I'm just a piece of crap. I didn't really defend the name of my own friend, which is a very, very stupid thing. But to stand up against someone I really cared about and, you know, basically loved was really hard on my thoughts. I didn't want to upset her, so I just bit my tongue. I never got mad at her up until the last couple of days of us being together. Well, the last week or two. There was one day where I was like, I was getting sick, like my throat was super sore. I was in a lot of pain, and, you know, I was in a cuddly feeling. Like, I understand the inability, or not the inability, but the urge of not wanting, like, any physical touch. But it was just like, with her, it was like, she did, or I got this feeling that she did. I was right, and then all of a sudden she got mad at me. I was just like, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, right. Like, you're da 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 da. You're always trying to do stuff like this. Like, you just don't ever listen, or you're just always doing stuff like this just to get on my nerves. And I looked at her dead in the eye. I'm like, are you serious? Like, do you actually think this? And it was just like, I couldn't believe what I just heard. Just like, how are you gonna claim stuff like that? Yet, over messages and stuff, tell me, oh yeah, no, you have full permission to, like, just grab at, just force me to hug you or whatever. It's like, okay, I'll take you up on that, because I'm a cuddly dude. It's well known to people that I'm close to. If, like, I'm like that with you, like, I'll probably be cuddly. Like, not if like, whatever the hell. But I'm just the guy who needs a little bit of physical touch in his life. Probably a strong love language. But it was like, I wish that I wasn't always at fault with her. I kind of just felt forced at times. Like she just put up with me just because. So I just sucked it up. Dang. I just bit my tongue for most of it. As for the time that I did get mad, was the only time I ever raised my voice at her. And like I said, I was sick that day, and she was consistently like, throughout the day, she was just consistently like getting mad at me for very little things, trying at my patience. And that it was that same day that she was over there like crying and whining about how Naomi. Crap! I just said my female friend's name. Sorry. Just crying and making a big hoopla about my female friends looks, and that was the first time I kind of spoke up. I was just like, why do you always need to talk crap? Just like kind of let it go, or not really even kind of just let it go is what I said. And she's like, oh really, like why don't you go to her, like this and that. It's like, why don't you just go out with her, find yourself a new girlfriend or whatever. I was like, are you seriously saying this bull crap? Like, are you mental? And she just ignored me, tried shooing me away, and I just sat there in silence, all irritated. And then lunch ended, and she finally looked back towards me, and she was like, why are you mad? And I looked at her like she was absolutely stupid. I was like, do you really not know why I'm mad? And she's like, no, like, whatever. And I was like, it's nothing then. Just genuinely don't worry about it. If you don't know, then there's no point in trying to explain it to you. And then she got mad at my response. And that was the first time I've ever like said something like that to her. Meanwhile, she'd say stuff like that often. But for me, it's just I kind of knew it was useless to explain anything if she didn't understand. Because this same instant, she was like, you're just being over dramatic about it. Like, it's not even that big a deal. And then the fact that I mentioned, like, you literally told me to go find a new girlfriend. She was like, no, I didn't. I would never say anything like that towards you. This and that. And I was like, this is just plain lying. Like, you're lying to me. Like, I swear on everything I know and love. You said it. Like, even your friend heard it. And she's like, no, she didn't. And she looked at her friend, and her friend was like, gave her a look. And then my ex gave her a look back. And she was like, yeah, no, I didn't hear anything. I was like, oh my god, bro, what the hell? And it escalated further. And I just dropped it immediately after that happened. I was just like, okay, I guess I was wrong. And I stuck to my guns, believing that I was right. But I had a sore throat, and I just really didn't want to put up with much of anything. So I just kind of dismissed things as quickly as possible if it were starting to get on my nerves, because it was just, tedious as hell to have to put up with it further. And then during seventh period, it was like, I was in my cuddly type mood, and I had like confirmed with her, yo, is it like good? Like, can I hold your hand? Or maybe not your hand, but just can I get like a hug? And she was all irritatedly like telling me to go away, like I'm being annoying and whatnot. So I immediately like skedaddled away. Like I just put some distance. It was all good, I guess. And she was, just irritated in general. And I could never get a hug or whatever. And just felt dejected. Anytime like I wanted attention of some sorts, it was just dismissed. When she's with her friends, dismissed. Like even in the halls, whenever I'd be walking with them, they kind of walk at a faster pace and I end up falling behind. And her friends would always ask, like, yo, like, where's, and then they'd say my name. And she just got to the point where she was like, don't even, like, bother. It's like, he's behind. He's slow. And, you know, and hearing that was just like, okay, well, I guess I'm not important enough to wait on like that. And, you know, I just stayed back. And there was multiple times that like I'd like be like, hey, can you like give me more attention? Like, can you do this and that? And those were like the only requests I'd make, and she'd be like, yeah, like, of course, like, I don't mean to make you feel like that. And then that day rolls around, and then it's the exact same treatment. There would be no change whatsoever in how it was. And I was just kind of like, oh, okay, I guess. I guess she probably forgot, and I'd remind her, and she'd be like, oh yeah, my bad. And then just go back to talking with her friends. No. Right. But, like, it was just. What's the word? Yeah, gaslighting. That's what it was. I was gaslit into some stuff. So. And my friend had even, like, whenever I would open up to her about some of it, she would be talking about it too, saying, like, that's manipulation, dog. Like, she's just a lying little manipulative B word. And I was just like, that may be so, but, you know, like, I just wanted to last. Like, I don't want to end things. I still care a great deal. And, like, the messages never deleted. And this was whenever I was coming back from a vacation over to the Yogi Bear Park, which honestly was very fun. Like, that was memorable. That was probably like the one time with my ex that, you know, it felt really peaceful. Like, she never once hung up on me to, like, talk to one of her friends who all of a sudden wanted to call. It was just straight 24/7 on the phone with each other. It was nice, like, genuinely. But whenever I got back, school started up again because we were on break. School started up again, and, like, actually, wait, it was at the little the log cabin of the Yogi Bear Park thing that we talked super often. There wasn't a time where we were kind of like apart. And then on the drive back and the drive to and fro is, yeah, to and fro Yogi Bear Park. Uh, I had very little interaction, and it kind of kind of made me overthink pretty badly. I'm gonna need a shield, bro. But I was just dejected at the thought that I'm pathetic. Like, I thought I was the burden in all actuality. Like, I had consistently tried my hardest to be the good boyfriend, but I needed a place to be heard. I wanted to be able to vent to someone and, feel like there was meaning to what I was saying. Like, I wanted to be able to help get my thoughts straight. So I talked to, you know, I talked to my best man and then my female friend, which I only have one. As crazy as that will sound, in that time, it was only one female friend. As of now, two female friends. One of which is just really, really random. Not weird or anything, just random as hell. Actually, no, never mind. She's weird. But, you know, like, I really have a lot of respect for that same female friend who was there telling me to just leave it when I just kept denying the desire to leave it. But I understand the fact of you shouldn't talk about your relationship to others, but she had no right to be complaining about that because she went to adults, she went to her friends, she went to her closest friend, she went to so many people to talk about me, and she would talk crap. I found out about this primarily because some of her friends had even mentioned the fact that during the time that we were together, it was just crap getting talked about me by her and them. And people had eavesdropped too. It was just like you hear that as well. Hearing all that was just like, dang, bruh. Like, did you really not care like that? They're just that much of a bother? And I had continuously wished that I could do something right. I had made it a pretty good goal to um we've hit that part of the night where I'm losing my thought process. It's 12:56. I'm basically gonna be one. I have to go to sleep soon. Well, I should be asleep by now. So I'll wrap this up instead of taking a good roundabout way. So I'll continue this some other time after I finish this. But, you know, um, basically, after the relationship, I learned she was a manipulator. She's a hypocrite. She's two-faced. And for some reason, I miss her. And I don't like miss her to the extent that I want to get back with her. I just feel weird. I don't know, it's just weird thoughts about it whenever it comes to thinking about a relationship that you were once in that lasted a pretty long time, let alone someone that was your first girlfriend. That was pretty hectic. It just wasn't it. Um, I had talked to my friend about it, and she was telling me all these things, and I kept like saying, but I still want to stay in the relationship, like this and that. And she's like, well, I'm not gonna like try to tell you about it anymore. Like, I keep trying, and I already know that I'm just gonna get nowhere every time. And she was like, you're being manipulated, man. Like, don't stay with somebody this bad to you. Like, you don't deserve to be treated like this. Like, you're a good man, and you need someone better. I was just like, well, I don't really want better, man. Like, I just want this to work out. And she's like, well, just don't say I didn't try, man. Like, you know, she didn't want to impose extremely hard on it. And she was just like, kind of giving her input, but she was just saying it and like, I recommend you do this. I was like, okay, I respect you for at least not trying to force it upon me. And the guy she was talking to, aka my homeboy, was over there like, bro, just end it. Like, if you can, I will. I was like, bro, I got you. But it was that same day that he was telling me that like the relationship was already gonna end. The day of our breakup, it was already a sign that it was gonna happen. Oh dear. I had mentioned it to Naomi, and she was like, break up with her before she breaks up with you. Like, it's gonna happen. And it was out of hand. I didn't want to break up. I told her up front that I didn't want to be the one to break things off, that I would rather it be her. because I don't have that kind of courage in me to throw the balls to tell her. That's not the kind of guy I am. Like, I devote. For better or for worse, I just devote. It's nothing good or bad. Which maybe I'm I would, like, commit and just do it, but you'd have to do something really bad. So what had happened was, as that day went on, I was starting to feel really, really sick to my stomach. And before we broke up, like, I'd say the last month we were together, like, I felt a lot of, like, discomfort in my stomach. Just, like, anytime lunch was starting, and, like, whenever I'd go up, like, be sitting with her, my stomach would be, like, undeniably horrible with pain. I couldn't even stand. And I thought it was anxiety. If it is, it was. If it wasn't, then I don't know. But I felt so sick to my stomach, I felt like throwing up. And, like, it just was very, very painful. But by the end of it, I was just kind of chilling with it. Um, I had gotten my slight rebound on it whenever I wouldn't be in the lunchroom, but it would always be before, like, I saw her during lunch, that I felt like huge pains in my stomach or just my body in general, leading from my stomach all the way up to my head, or just I felt sick, absolutely sick. And after 2 days of it, she just kind of stopped looking my way and started ignoring me. Like, she wouldn't even try to comfort me about it. She just ignored my existence while talking and laughing with her friends. And, I just sat there alone, basically, at a table with someone who's supposed to be my girlfriend. And I just felt pathetic. I mean, it's already bad enough that that was happening. But I think the worst part is people never knew we dated. Because, like, in the halls, like, people who didn't really know us thought me and her were just, like, friends. Which kind of sucked. That goat actually scared the hell out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, to fully wrap it up, when she broke up with me, it sucked. I learned she talked a lot of crap and out of revenge, I not fully out of revenge. That's not even like the truth behind it. It was just her cousin who had like warned me saying that like, yo, we could still be friends, man. I'm sorry. That's when I knew it was truly gonna be over. And like she didn't want me sitting with my girl best friend during lunch while she went away to the food area, and she was like talking to everybody else to see if she should break up with me while talking crap. And like I heard during the last week leading up to her breaking up with me, she was already talking about it with her friends, laughing and like talking a lot of crap about me as a person. And you know, so hearing that, I was just miserable. This was Wednesday, and then seventh period, she broke up with me. She wouldn't even like look me in the face or whatever. But during seventh period, I was kind of in like my I'm gonna cry moods. So but I was like kind of looking down. Like I zoned out, was thinking about it. I was overthinking pretty bad. And she had the audacity to ask me what's wrong, and I told her that I was sorry for having angered her in the morning about not defending her uh, against one of my friends, because the only reason why that entire thing went down was because she saw the message that my female friend had sent, and she about how she's manipulative and a B word. I was like, that may be true, but I don't care. Like I still want to be with her. And her main spiel was, you shouldn't have, or you should have defended me instead of letting her run her mouth or blocking her. Which, there's truth to that. I should have. But at the same time, it was like, I couldn't open up to her. And like, had she read what I said fully, it was like, I was accepting it, even if it wasn't true or whatever. Which in general, let's be honest, it was true. It was like, you know, I still kind of talked about how I am fully down for that, just so long as I'm actually loved or whatever. I don't know. I'm weird, but it's like that happened the worst time. And I was already crying, and she's like, well, I just want you to know I'm sick of this. Like, I can't. Like, I've told you countless times over and over that like, stop doing this or stop doing that to fix this. And I told you how you should. And I immediately chimed in. I was like, you never did. You were lying out of your butt. Every single time I confronted her and asked her, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm sorry for this. Like, what do you want me to do to fix it? I'd always get met up with the words or just the word IDK. I don't know. And it was like, well, when you do know, can you please tell me? Because I don't want to keep making the same mistake for you. And she just sent the letter K. It was like, dude, help me understand what you want. and she's like, well, that doesn't matter, that's like irrelevant, I've told you and you just never fixed it. And in the moment I was still trying to say, like, fight for her to stay, as obviously that would never work out. So I had started crying harder, and I asked her, like, what do you mean by done? Like, can you please elaborate? And she's like, done, like, I'm done. Like, I just don't want to be in a relationship anymore. And like, she had already walked away up to the front of the classroom because we were getting sent up there. I stayed back there in tears. Like, she told me she was just done and everything, and she walked up to the front, sat down on one of the beanbag chairs at the front of the door, and just never looked my way. Started texting on her phone, and you know, it was crazy. And shortly after, after she told me that she's just done, like, she just doesn't want to be in a relationship with me anymore, like, she got up and walked all the way towards me, snatched the journal that she told me she was done with me on away, and she walked back to where she was sitting and asked to go. She got up again, gave me the dirtiest look on her way over to the teacher, asked to go to the restroom, and looked disgusted at me once more on her way out to the restroom. And I broke. Like, I just couldn't move. And later on, the teacher was like, found out I was still back there. She's like, hey, can you move to the front? I was like, yeah, just give me a minute. And I stayed back there, and then the bell rang, and the teacher found out I was crying. And, you know, I explained my situation. I messaged my parents, letting them know that I was single. And to next time I upload, I guess, if I'm still in this mood, I'll talk about, you know, more about the relationship. I hope you enjoyed about an hour and 30 minutes of me finally talking a lot for a video. It is now 1:14 in the morning. I have to wake up in 4.5 hours. Good night, guys. To my girlfriend, if you're even watching this video, please don't feel bad about any of this. This is my past, and you have your past too. To my ex, man, doing me dirty, bruh. This middle finger goes out to you. I'm going to bed. Good night, boys and girls, and whoever cared to listen to this entire thing. I'll be writing my final note someday. Not Sunday as in the 7th day of the week, but soon. Maybe. I don't know. I'm tired.